All right, so start this drawing by drawing these 3 circles. Once those 3 circles are drawn, all right, so once they're drawn, we're going to go on with our next part. So our next part, we're going to use the rectangle command. So go up here and pick your rectangle command or type REC for rectangle. And we're going to draw a little rectangle here. I'm going to start the rectangle right there on this quadrant of that second largest circle. So we're going to start it right there. And I want to put a specific size to this rectangle, so I'm going to hit D for dimension. And it makes it disappear here, but that's okay. We're going to type it in a 5-inch, so 5 by 0.125. So 5 by 0.125. It makes it appear there on the screen. You can pick whether to make it go up or down. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, really doesn't matter. Just click on your screen and get that first rectangle on there. Okay. Once your first rectangle's on there, then we're going to go ahead and draw another rectangle right on top of it. So I'm just going to hit my space bar to repeat my rectangle command. I'm going to start the next rectangle right there exactly on top of it, on that endpoint right there, and come down and around to about right in here. But if I just click right there, it's going to go to the end of that. But I want to be exactly the same size width-wise, but I want it to go about right there. What could I pick on right there? What? Nearest. It's one of those options where I tell you don't use this command very often, but here's a good place to use this if I go to the NEA, nearest point, and pick right in here somewhere. Doesn't matter exactly where at all. So somewhere right about in there. So now I have one rectangle there, and then the second rectangle right on top of it right there. Okay? Now from there, watch just for a second, and I'm going to let you go on your own. So I'm going to draw a third rectangle. My next one, I'm going to make a really tiny one. So right there at the back of the beginning, I'm going to make one that goes to the nearest point right there. And then from there, what I want you to do is create between 6 and 8 rectangles that are all right on top of each other, just a little bit different sizes. So I'm going to do my next one that goes from there to the nearest point, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, there. Doesn't matter. And another one from there to there. Doesn't matter again, just do a total of between 6 and 8. Right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to do at least 2 more. I'm going to be somewhat of an overachiever, but not a complete overachiever. I'm going to go 7. Yes, 7. I like 7. Okay, so now next. Very minor step here, but I'm kind of nitpicky sometimes this way. So if you zoom in on this side of it, over here on the left side of our rectangles, notice there's that little tiny bit of a gap there. If we make this into a solid, there's going to be that little tiny bit of a gap here. I don't like that. So I'm going to select all these, or I just select them with a crossing like so. I'm going to select all those stacked on top of each other. And I'm going to drag this back just a little bit there to the left. So it sticks inside of this. If we make this into a solid and we union everything together, overlapping is not going to matter. But if there was a gap here, it would be a little gap. And I don't like that little gap there. All right. So once those are all moved just a little bit and overlapping, our next thing is, if you look at the drawing on page 718, these impellers, it just isn't a blade that goes straight up. They kind of twist as they go up. So to do that, we need to do this next step. I'm going to go rotate, and just watch here for just a second. So I'm going to go rotate. I'm going to pick this largest one out here. So again, just watch this first time. I'm going to rotate that largest one. I'm going to rotate it from this top left corner right there. And I'm just going to rotate it down here a little ways. My exact position I put it in really isn't that important. So I'm going to put it right about there. Click. Then, next, I'm always a little bit nitpicky about this. This hanging out past this outside edge, that's not good. So I'm going to adjust this again from that midpoint of it. And when I adjust, what point do you think I might want to go to here? The nearest point. If I go to the nearest point right there on that edge of the circle, now I do stick past a little bit on this side and a little bit inside there, but I can live with that. And right there is pretty good. So then next, you're just going to kind of rinse and repeat. You're going to rotate our next largest one, rotate it from the same corner down to say about there. You're going to rotate the next one down to about there. You're going to rotate every one of those just a little bit less on each one until you get to this very last one, and you're not going to rotate it at all. You're just going to leave it right there. So you'll see what mine looks like here once it's done, or you can just start doing yours on your own.